Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Manchester United are only the serious bidder for Erling Halland, but will have to qualify for the Champions League to get Erling Halland. Erling Halland has a £64 million release clause. He's got a contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2024. Halland has made 53 appearances in the Bundesliga for Dortmund and he's scored 53 goals. Borussia Dortmund got Erling Halland from Red Bull Salzburg for €20 million. That equates to just over 17 million in pound sterling. You know, Rangnick knows the player well. Plus, Solskjaer worked with Halland at Molde. He's regarded as one of the best strikers in the world because he's a prolific goal scorer. Halland is only the age of 21. And I think if he came to the Premier League, he'd replicate what he's done with Borussia Dortmund. I'm hearing as well that Barcelona have been interested in him. But he said he won't consider making a move to Barcelona unless Barcelona get Champions League football. There's a few players that Manchester United are interested in. Now, Amadou Haidara could be the first signing of the Ralph Rangnick era. Amadou Haidara admits is a Manchester United fan and a Cristiano Ronaldo fan. Amadou Haidara has a £33 million release clause. Well, Rangnick did mention earlier on in the season that he wants Amadou Haidara as his first signing as Man United manager. Rangnick knows the player well. Because Rangnick used to manage RB Leipzig. Manchester United have also been interested in Antonio Rudiger from Chelsea. Now, Rangnick has a good relationship with Rudiger's agent and brother. The other day, it said that Antonio Rudiger reportedly rejected a contract extension offer from Chelsea. And Sky Sports News did mention that Manchester United entered the race for Rudiger. Real Madrid, they've held talks with Rudiger. PSG and Bayern Munich have also expressed an interest. I'd like to see Rudiger come to Manchester United because I think him alongside Varane would be very good. You know, they'd complement each other very well. You know, Chelsea got Rudiger back in 2017 from Roma. Chelsea got him for around £29 million. Rudiger's current contract expires at the end of the season. The other day, it said Manchester United were interested in Frenkie de Jong from Barcelona, but I'm very sceptical that Man United will get him because Frenkie de Jong's father did admit that Man United have a disadvantage in the transfer pursuit. Something to do with the bad weather, he mentioned, his father. Barcelona got Frenkie de Jong from Ajax back in 2019 for £65 million. Jude Bellingham's also been on Man United's agenda, and so too has Calvin Phillips, and the other week John McGinn from Aston Villa was also mentioned. Ralph Rangnick has been given a £100 million transfer budget for January. Can get quite a few players out of that. Rangnick needs to heavily invest if he is to succeed as Manchester United manager. Rangnick has enjoyed a good start to his managerial career at Man United. So far he's unbeaten. And reflecting on the win against Norwich last weekend, that was back-to-back wins in the Premier League for Rangnick. Rangnick is Manchester United's interim manager until the end of the season. Then after that, Rangnick will continue in a consultancy role for a further 2 years. If Rangnick does well as the interim manager, there's a chance he'll get the Man United job on a permanent basis. Before Manchester United, he was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Next year, Rangnick will be focusing on the outgoings as well as the incomings. Now, as you all know, Manchester United remain in talks with the Premier League over whether Saturday's fixture with Brighton can go ahead. Now, obviously, yesterday, Manchester United were hit with 19 new COVID cases to leave the Brighton match in doubt. Now, yesterday, Manchester United's first team players returned to training as the Carrington training ground reopened. Revert back to Monday. Manchester United shut their Carrington training ground due to a COVID outbreak at Man United. And Manchester United's game against Brentford got postponed. I'm hoping this game against Brighton at the weekend can go ahead. Brighton recently played Wolves. They lost 1-0. By the way, Brighton have had a COVID outbreak. There's a few of their players that have got it now. I think Steele's got it. Maupay's got it. Pascal Gross has got it. And another player has got it as well for Brighton. Despite Brighton losing yesterday to Wolves, I think they have enjoyed a very good season to their standards. And like I said, they have got some very good players in their team. Obviously, they've got Neil Maupay. That's good. They've also got Aaron Connolly. He's an attacking player. They've also got Danny Welbeck. Danny Welbeck is out with injury at the moment. Don't forget, Danny Welbeck is a former Manchester United player. Brighton have also got Leonardo Trossard. That's very good. Brighton have also got Pascal Gross. That's good. They've got Adam Lallana. Adam Lallana is a former Liverpool player. Lallana just come back from injury not so long ago. Brighton have also got Stephen Alze. He's just come back from injury. Brighton have also got Tariq Lamptey, who's a very, very good defender. They've also got Bissouma. He's good. By the way, if this game was to go ahead against Brighton, Bissouma will not be playing because he is suspended. Brighton have also got Lewis Dunk. He's out with injury at the moment. They've also got Adam Webster. He's out with injury at the moment. Brighton have also got Shane Duffy. Shane Duffy didn't play any part against Wolves recently for Brighton because he was suspended. Brighton have also got Daniel Byrne as well. I think he's a defender. Veltman, they've got him. He's just picked up an injury. Brighton have also got Solly March. So they are quite a lot of the players that Brighton have got. Now obviously revert back to last summer, they lost Ben White to Arsenal. But Brighton did receive £50 million for him. And Glenn Murray also left Brighton. Brighton's manager is Graham Potter. He's been in charge of Brighton for over 2.5 years now. You know, before Brighton he managed Swansea, and before then he managed Östersund. Now Manchester United won their last game against Norwich 1-0. The goal came from a Cristiano Ronaldo penalty. You know, Ronaldo won the penalty as he got dragged down by Max Aarons. But Ronaldo now has 13 goals in all competitions since he re-signed for Man United, and he scored 802 goals in his career. You know, Manchester United have won the last 3 in the league, so if this game was to go ahead against Brighton on Saturday, Man United were to win, that would be 4 wins in a row in the Premier League. But I can't see the game going ahead now. I really can't. You know, Manchester United's next game is Newcastle after Brighton. We might not be playing another game now until after, you know, Christmas. We may not even be playing another game until the new year. It depends on how, you know, COVID and that goes. Manchester United are missing players. As you all know, Pogba, he's still out with a thigh injury. Pogba is out for the rest of the year, but I have been hearing that Paul Pogba is stepping up his recovery. Varane, he's been out of a hamstring injury. He said if the game against Brighton was to go ahead, then Varane could make his return. Edison Cavani, you know, he's out with injury, but he's very close to returning. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Cavani had an injury. Martial picked up an injury not so long ago. Wan-Bissaka, he's also injured. He came off injured in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys. Lindelof, he's got an injury. He had to come off against Norwich last weekend because he was suffering breathing problems and chest pains. Ralph Rangnick did confirm though that Lindelof was okay. So that's very good news. So they're the injuries Man United have got, and obviously Matic has been out of a cold and Juan Mata has got illness. Now, Manchester United have got very, very good players in their team. You know, look who we've got. You know, we've got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. like I said, Ronaldo's scored 13 goals for Man United in all competitions since he re-signed, and he's got over 800 goals in his career. Revert back to October, Ronaldo got named Player of the Month, and revert back to September, he got named Premier League Player of the Month. So that's back-to-back awards since he re-signed. Ronaldo's got a contract with Man United until 2023. There's an option of a further year. Ronaldo receives £480,000 a week at Man United, so he's the highest earner at the moment. Man United got Ronaldo for 19.8 million, with add-ons included. And Ronaldo wears the number 7 shirt. Ronaldo's won over 30 trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. Man United have also got Mason Greenwood. That's a talented player. I think Greenwood's done well since he come back from COVID. Greenwood came on against Norwich last weekend and he scored in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys. It was a very good volley as well by Greenwood. It was a lovely cross from Shaw to find him, and Greenwood got the assist for the Fred goal in the 1-0 win against Crystal Palace. Greenwood made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and last season Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. Jaden Sancho, I think he's also a good player as well. Sancho's done nowhere near as well as a lot of United fans expected, but it does take some players time to settle in. Sancho was poor against Norwich last weekend, but despite that, I still think he looks a better player than he did under Solskjaer. Because revert back to when we had Solskjaer, Solskjaer was persistently playing Sancho out of position. There was quite a few games Sancho didn't even play in under Solskjaer. Sancho did well in the first half in the 1-0 win against Crystal Palace, but it was poor in the second half. Sancho did very well in the games against Villarreal and Chelsea earlier on this season because he scored in both of them games. Sancho's only scored 2 goals for the club so far. Manchester United got Sancho in a deal worth 78 million with add-ons included. Man United paid around 73 million up front. He's under contract with Man United until June 2026 as an option of a further year. Sancho did enjoy 4 good years at Borussia Dortmund before he signed for Man United. Anthony Elanga, he looks a good asset for the first team squad, like I mentioned not so long ago. Doesn't get in the first team squad though much, does he? Elanga obviously played in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys the other week. I recall him having a chance in that game, produced a good save from the Young Boys goalkeeper, and Elanga came on in the 1-0 win against Crystal Palace. Marcus Rashford, I think he's a decent player overall, but I think Rashford has endured a lot of poor games since he come back from that shoulder problem. Rashford has not been the same player since he come back from that shoulder problem. I think it's time for Ralph Rangnick to drop Marcus Rashford and start Greenwood ahead of him. Greenwood's a better player than Rashford at the moment. Rashford was very poor against Norwich because he got dispossessed too many times. He was also poor against Crystal Palace the other week. I thought he was poor in the 3-2 win against Arsenal, but he still managed to get an assist in that game. Rashford has been part of the club for a long time, risen up our academy and that. He's been a Man United player since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. Rashford's got a contract with Man United until 2023. Edison Cavani, I think he's also a good player as well. Cavani initially lost his place in the team though, with the club re-signing Ronaldo last summer. Like I said, Cavani's got an injury at the moment. He had injury earlier on in the season. I'm expecting Cavani to leave Man United next year. I heard that Barcelona are interested in him, and Juventus have also inquired about Edison Cavani. Manchester United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG. This season has been Cavani's second full season at Man United. Bruno Fernandez, he's also an exceptional player as well. He's one of our best players, and he's one of the best signings we've made since Fergie retired. But I've got to say, Fernandez has endured a lot of poor games this season. And I am shocked in that aspect, because revert back to last season, Bruno Fernandez was absolutely exceptional. But let me put into the equation, Fernandez starts the vast majority of Manchester United's games. So reflecting on that, he will become fatigued. Fernandez, the last goal he scored was the 3-2 win against Arsenal, and the last assist he provided in the Premier League was a 3-0 win against Tottenham. So that just shows how poor he's been. Fernandez has been a Man United player for almost 2 years. Man United got Fernandez from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. Revert back to earlier on this season, Fernandez made it clear that he wants to stay at Man United. And when he first come to Man United, he said, "I've come to Manchester to win trophies." Fernandez has got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. Donny Van Der Beek, he's also another good player that Man United have got, but I haven't had a great deal of a perception on Van Der Beek because he started nowhere near enough games. Van Der Beek didn't start against Norwich last weekend, but he did come on. He started in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys the other week. He was in an unfamiliar role. He was the holding midfielder. He did well in that game, Van Der Beek, apart from the poor pass he made that led to the Young Boys equaliser. I said the only way Man United can persuade Van Der Beek to stay, and that's if he gets the opportunities he's been demanded under Rangnick. Because revert back to when we had Solskjaer, Van Der Beek got nowhere near enough opportunities, and reflecting on that, Van Der Beek was very frustrated. Towards the end of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure, Van Der Beek confirmed that he wants to leave Man United in January, or will be leaving Man United in January, should I say. He's only scored 2 goals for the club, Van Der Beek, and he's been a Manchester United player for over a year and a half now. This season's been his second full season at Man United. Man United got Van Der Beek in a deal worth 40 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Fred. Now, I don't think he's a good player overall, but certainly in recent weeks, his performances have been outstanding. And I hope he can continue with these outstanding performances. Fred was very good against Norwich last weekend, probably was our best outfield player. Fred also played well in the 1-0 win against Crystal Palace the other week. He scored a stunning goal late on. He also played very well in the 3-2 win against Arsenal because he got an assist in that game and he won the penalty. Also played well in the 1-1 draw with Chelsea at Stamford Bridge earlier on in the season. If you do remember rightly, he squandered a chance in that game. That came from a mistake from the Chelsea keeper. As you all know, I have heavily criticised Fred before. But he continues with these good performances. My perceptions will start to change on him. Man United got Fred for around 50 million from Shakhtar Donetsk a few years ago now. Paul Pogba, he's also a good player as well. He's not only a good player, he's an imperative player. Pogba's been a big miss for Manchester United. You know, Pogba is out with a thigh injury at the moment. He's out for the rest of the year with this thigh injury, but like I said, he's stepping up his recovery. Come back from Dubai not so long ago. Revert back towards the start of the season when Pogba was fit. Pogba was in scintillating form. You know, he's got 7 assists so far in the league this season. Revert back towards the end of last season, Paul Pogba produced good performances for Man United. But at one point last season, he was out with a thigh injury for a while and he sustained some ankle injuries at Man United. You know, if Paul Pogba leaves Manchester United next year, he'll leave in the summer. I can't see him leaving in January midway through the season. And Rangnick's already said he won't try to convince Pogba to stay at Man United if he wants to go. His current contract at Man United expires next summer. Revert back towards the start of the season, Pogba rejected a new Man United contract offer. Malik Tellez, he's a decent left back as well. Played a lot of football in recent weeks, obviously because Luke Shaw had that concussion. Luke Shaw missed like 4 games in a row in all competitions because of that concussion. Tellez played last weekend against Norwich. I don't think he was as good as he was in the games against Palace, Arsenal and Chelsea. Tellez did have a good chance against Norwich last week from the free kick, but it hit the crossbar. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Tellez had an injury, and the reason Man United brought Tellez in was to provide competition for Shaw. Man United got Tellez for 15.4 million with add-ons included from Porto. And Luke Shaw, I think he's a good left back overall, but hasn't really proven how good he can be so far this season. And I am shocked in that aspect, because revert back to last season, Luke Shaw was outstanding. You know, Luke Shaw's had a couple of injuries this season. To be fair, Shaw did well in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys the other week. You know, he got forward well, got in some good positions and got the assist for the Greenwood goal. Probably his best performance so far this season. But as the season goes on, I'm sure Shaw will regain his form. Shaw's injury prone, which is definitely a concern. He's been at Manchester United for around 8 years now, is it? So he's been a long-serving player. Shaw's got under 2 years left on his contract. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I think he's a good right-back defensively, but the attacking side of his game is very poor. And these aspects of his game that I've got to improve, he's got to show more attacking intent, he's got to get in. His crossing's always got to improve, his position has to improve. So there you go. But he's still one of the best right-backs we've had since Gary Neville. Man United got Bissaka from Crystal Palace back in 2019 for £50 million. I think Diego Dalot's good when he wants to be. Dalot obviously played against Norwich last weekend. He was quite poor in that one. Dalot was far superior in the games against Crystal Palace and Arsenal and that than he was against Norwich. Dalot got a yellow card in the game against Norwich. Dalot is our backup right back to Bissaka. Last season, Dalot had a loan spell with AC Milan, so reflecting on that, he gained some experience. Manchester United got Dalot for around £19 million from Porto. He's got a contract with Man United till 2023. I do think Eric Bailly is a very, very good centre-half. Bailly obviously came on against Norwich last weekend with obviously what happened to Lindelof. He started against Young Boys, did Bailly the other week, and what a performance he put out. You know, he made some good clearances and some good blocks. I think Bailly has played well in all the games he's played in this season, apart from the game against Man City. He was very, very poor against Man City. Eric Bailly lost his place in the team a while ago though, with the club signing Varane last summer, and for some reason Lindelof's been preferred to Bailly. Don't ask me why, because Bailly's a far superior centre-half to Lindelof. My concern about Bailly is injury prone, so in that aspect he is a liability. Revert back towards the end of last season, Bailly signed a new contract with Man United till 2024. There's an option of a further year. Manchester United got Bailly from Villarreal back in 2016 for 30 million. I think Varane's also a good centre-half. I haven't had a great deal of a perception on him at United because he's endured a couple of injuries. You know, he's got a hamstring injury at the moment. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Varane had a groin injury and he was out with that groin injury for a few weeks. Manchester United got Varane for 41 million with add-ons included. Man United paid around 34 million up front. Varane's got a contract with the club until 2025. There's an option of a further year. He's highly experienced, is Varane. He is regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the world. Varane won a lot of trophies when he was a Real Madrid player. Harry Maguire, he's good when he wants to be. He hasn't really proven how good he can be at Man United. I'm going to be honest with you, I thought he was far superior with Leicester than he has been at Man United. He's had some good games at Man United, just not many. You know, Maguire played against Norwich last weekend. I don't think he was that good in that game because he was struggling to get the ball out from the back and that. He did have a good chance in the game against Norwich from a header from long range, yeah. Produced a good save from Tim Krul. Maguire did well in the 1-0 win against Palace, but that was the best game he endured for a while. You know, revert back to earlier on in the season, Maguire had a calf injury. And he hasn't been the same since then. Towards the end of last season, Maguire had ligament damage in his ankle. You know, Man United overpaid for Maguire, got him for 80 million, so he's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club. And, you know, David De Gea, he's a very, very good goalkeeper. He's back to his best now. You know, De Gea's done really well this season. You know, De Gea got man of the match for the game against Norwich last weekend because he made good saves in that game to deny Timu Pukki, and he denied Kabak twice from 2 headed chances. And Henderson's also a good keeper as well. Henderson was in goal for the game against Young Boys the other week. That was only his second appearance of the season. He don't really get in goal now because revert back to last summer, De Gea reclaimed that number 1 spot back. So there you go. We've got very, very good players. There is players that are not good enough to represent the club. I don't think Lindelof's good enough. Even though he has had good games, I don't think Matic is good enough. I don't think McTominay is good enough. Martial's not good enough, but he doesn't really get in the team anyway. Lingard's also not good enough either. You know, so there's a few, isn't there? Jones isn't good enough, you know, but he doesn't get in the team. So yeah, so anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless.